Thank you one, thank you all. Can you all hear me okay? Beautiful. So in my opinion, there are different type of agents. There are the don't make it as an agent and normally last 6 to 12 months and then go back to do what they were doing. They are the one that go up as a roller coaster and they get busy and then they don't, and then they get busy, then they don't, normally because they don't prospect the way they should. And then there is the powerhouses and a very successful agent that sell 50, 100, 150 plus a year. So with that, to be one of those agents that are very, very successful, you need a bunch of things. Number one, you need to know how to list the property. Number two, you need to know how to market a property. Number three, you need to know how to negotiate a property to get it sold for best price. But the first three are not always easy to achieve if you don't prospect the right way. Now, I say the word prospecting, right? And I was thinking about what to talk about today. And I was like, I'm going to come up with 21 prospecting strategy and I'm going to give them all away in 20 minutes. And then I was like, no, because everyone has heard the usual prospecting strategy, the door knocking, the scripts, this and that, just listed, just sold. How many prospecting strategies are out there? Hundreds of them, really, if you analyze them. So what I'm going to be talking about today is a handful, probably less than 5 prospecting strategies that you might have heard. But my goal is at the end of this 20 minutes, 19 minutes, 18:48:7, I've got a timer there. At the end of my time, you'll walk away with minimum one strategy that you have not thought about, or maybe that you're going to be adopting, because I'm going to tell you how I do it. Now, let's start from the one thing that Ben from formerly known as NZREC, came to me and he said, and I'm not trying to claim the idea, please don't think it was my idea. He came to me and says, Diego, because I used to work with Ben doing digital leads for a number of years, and he said, what do you need in terms of your business? And I'm like, I want to send text messages addressed to the person without having to copy paste and find a property that's sold. I just want an easy process and I want to do it from my phone number. And then I want to get the same process done by email. The day after he came back to me and says, email you can't, because if you want to send a mass email, it needs to have an unsubscribe and then people know that it's spam. But I might be able to do something with text messaging. And the thing with text messaging is I want to be sure that I can send a message every second and a half to someone for a just listed, a just sold, and I want to do it in a way that I don't have to think about it. I see I get a property that I'm just listing it. It'll tell me how many of my database I've got in my area, and I just go, well, I'm on the toilet, in the car, well, I'm whatever, right? When I'm in the supermarket, waiting for the wife that is doing some shopping, I go like, dang, sent, dang, sent, dang, sent. As you can see, right? It's very, very easy. It saves time. For me, prospecting is how do I do the basic but cheat my way around so I don't have to spend 2 hours doing something that literally took me to do that. As you can see, it's like 2 seconds a text message. Now, I just do just listed, it just sold, just because I sell a lot of it, but we'd connect, and I've got no involvement with them. I get it for free. I'll put my hand up because I always talk about it, because it's changed my life, by the way. They don't pay me to say this. This changed my life. It's the only prospecting that I personally do. Everything else is done by my team and all of that. We'll talk about it in a second. But that's one way, because I think it's about 80% of text messages get open. When you're looking at emails, I don't know you, but like I normally just look at an email, I just delete it unless it's important. I don't even read it. Too many emails. Text message, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable not reading a text message because it could be a piece of business or something else, right? Now it's interesting though, because if you look at I do this on not daily, but like 2-3 days a week, I'll spend 10-15 minutes doing some text messaging. And I look at some conversation and it's like, man, I've messaged this person 25 times. They've not replied once. That is success, because if they haven't replied once, they've taken it on board. I just listed, and normally about a month later, I've just sold the same property. And then I look at it as I just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. And it's just so powerful because they see that you list and sell. And what do we do as agents? List and sell, right? So that has saved me so much time, and I'm so glad that Ben has done that. So go and talk to Ben later. I don't think it costs much. Again, I've not paid for it, but I don't think it costs an arm and a leg. But yes, change everything. Now, this is something that I'm doing it at the moment because I don't know you, but like I'm a little bit quieter. And I'm impatient, I've got ADD. I'm like, I need to have 60 listings on the go and have 10 properties that sell a week. And if I don't, I'm a failure. So at the moment, I'm not selling that many. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I'm literally texting my whole database and I've asked them, and this message is from about 3 or 4 days before I put a presentation together. I'm just asking them a question. I always ask A, B, or C. Give them 3 options. Over half of people don't reply. Again, doesn't matter. But the one that reply tells me, actually, we're thinking to sell. Bingo! I'm going to call them, right? But that I do once a year. I will text everyone in my database, and I think Ben will have an option to that through Nurture. At the moment, I'm doing it myself. It's a little bit of a pain, but the engagement you get through text, in my opinion, it's second to none. I have not made a single phone call, even to follow up on a listing in ES. I return my phone calls. If I miss a call, I'll call them back, but I don't call people. I think they think that I have an accent and I'm a foreigner. They don't want to speak with a foreigner. That's my mooring line, right? So I started doing the text messaging, and it works actually very well for myself. Now, another thing, and this is an Australian company. I don't normally promote Australian companies because they're stealing all of my vendors. Have you also heard of Traglia? No? Wow, okay, cool. This is going to be a good one. Traglia, what it does, I'm going to play you the message that I send out, and then I'll explain what it is.
Hi there, it's Diego here calling from Harcourts, and I just wanted to give you a very quick update of what's happening in the market. I have called in mid-July 2024 as officially the point where the market has bottomed out. Of course, I was proven wrong last year in 2023, but so was Tony Alexander and everyone else. Market in 2024 has been coming backwards. In July, middle of July, that's the bottom of the market, and I think the next 3 months will tell us that the market is increasing. I'll bet you $10 anyway.
Well, I hope it will increase, because that went out to 2,000 people, and 2,000 times $10, I believe, is $20,000, isn't it? Somebody told me, it's like, it's a lot of money. I'm like, well, but the market is going up. At the moment, I think I probably call it too early again, but nevertheless. Now, to record that, I did it in 1 or 2 goes on my phone through the voicemail, whatever it's the app on your phone. I then load it on Traglia, and I send it out to my old database. And what happens is my database will receive a phone call from a blocked ID number, just one ring, a portion of a ring. It doesn't actually even ring. They just then get a notification they got a voicemail. They listen to the voicemail. And the engagement that I have, very rarely, I think in one hand, how many times people say, stop doing that. Everyone else, they listen to it because normally you clear them out, right? And all of a sudden you've done 2,000 or whatever your database is, you've done that many outreach by spending less than 15 minutes of work. Like, tell me how you can prospect 2,000 people, because that's my database of vendors. Should be bigger really, but nevertheless, that's my database of vendors. Where do you put, you can be front of their mind with your voice in the ear for less than 15 minutes to 2,000 people. You cannot do it. It's impossible to do that, right? It's $180 a month, I think, Australian. So it's again, value for money. I got no involvement, and they actually don't even give it to me for free, so I'm paying for it. But I've just given a strategy that once a month, they're going to be getting a voicemail. You've done 1 point of contact. Took you 20 minutes. Move on to the next strategy. Now, talking about the next strategy, I don't want to talk about that because that's boring. AI, and I don't want to talk too much about AI because we've got a specialist that's going to be speaking about AI this afternoon, Kyle Melosh. I've started working with him, and the thing about AI that I love is now I have an associate, Lucy. Her name is Lucy. I don't know what she looks like, because she doesn't exist, right? She's just AI, I think. What do you call it? An entity. But what Lucy does, messages my database, and at the moment, text messaging, very warm messages saying, hey, introducing herself, that she works with me as an assistant, and the conversation that Lucy has with my database, they're very warm, but they're getting to the point to finding out if there is any interest in real estate, either purchasing or selling. So listen to the session today, because I think AI, most people thought of, or I was thinking as AI as replacing me, and replacing me is helping me. It's helping me work in my database that to me is very dear to me and it's worth a lot of money, and it does it in a way that is 100% loyal to you, because Lucy is never going to rip me off because Lucy doesn't exist. Now, the next step would be, of course, to do the voice, voice calls and all of that, but I'm starting slow. You listen to what Carl has to say today, because I think if you actually understand that it's an assistant and it's not here to replace you, man, I like to have an assistant that costs me a couple of $100 a month. Talking about assistance, and this is about prospecting, right? And Lawrence before say Upwork, beautiful place to find any sort of contractor, and I couldn't agree more. Graphic designer, video designer, you name it, cheap and good quality. But when you're looking at prospecting, and this is taking a little bit of a divergence, I still got 9 minutes, good. If you don't have time to prospect, whatever that prospecting is, you're going to be failing at prospecting. And that's exactly why the roller coaster. You get busy, right? You've done prospecting for a few months, you've got 6 listings, all of a sudden you get the momentum, beautiful, then they're all selling, and then you realize it's like, shit, I had one, they say they list with someone else, I've got no listing, got to start again. And the reason why people do that, because they don't have the support, right? And what is the support? It's simple. It's someone that is, you can call it an assistant, whatever you want to call it, a PA, marketing manager, someone that is going to take away from you the things that you should not be doing. Because what do? List and sell, right? Everything else should be delegated. And Wingman does it very well. I mean, the thing about it is that I've gone through so many different Filipinos and from here, from there. And the reality is that they're cheap, but the problem is that they're on the other side of the world and it's hard to teach them and all of that, right? So Wingman, they just give you someone that is trying to become basically is a PA for a real estate agent. So that's what you want. Whether you get it from Wingman, whether you get it yourself, have someone that is going to help you to free your time to do the things that you got to do. Because the next strategy is very briefly, it's like I send an email to every single person in my database. Well, I don't, my PA, saying what's the highest and lowest sell of the previous month in the suburb. And the engagement I get back is very, very good. But to send an individual email to every single person coming from me, going to Mark, going to Paul, going to Tanya, going to Stu, it just takes time, right? But there is a lot of power because they cannot unsubscribe because there is no unsubscribe button because I was sending them myself. So, but you cannot do that if you don't have the support. And frankly, if you pay someone in New Zealand to do that, the hourly rate is very high. So I'm not saying that you're only working with overseas people. I still have my New Zealand team, but there are certain things that you can delegate at a cheaper rate. And you got to be smart around all of that. Something that I do when I'm trying to do it as often as I possibly can. If I do an appraisal for a 3-bedroom house in Avondale, suburb here in Auckland, if you're not from Auckland, then I go into my database and I look for every single 3-bedroom house in Avondale that I have. And I'll send them an email basically saying, I've done an appraisal for a similar property, here are the comparable used. I'm not putting the appraisal range, I just show them the comparable used. Imagine if you appraisal, a bunch of comparables every couple of months because you've done that. Now, that particular vendor will see you as, but again, if you had to do this, might take you like an hour to find all of those contacts, email it to all of them. So that's where you got to do prospecting smartly. Okay, so I just want to, and here's the thing that like social media, right? This is not groundbreaking. I've got one very good strategy at the end that I'm very proud of myself. I've been thinking about, what shall I say? But let's start from the basic. How many of you do a video for the suburbs that you work that says, hi, this is Diego from Harcourts. Here is the highest sell for the month. Here's the lowest sell of the month. Average days on the market are 75. Average price is 1.2 million. Just as simple as that. Put some caption and put it on LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I think, have I missed that? It doesn't matter. Who does that on a monthly basis? Okay, not many hands. Like, yes, my biggest, most successful, my favorite 3 restaurants in Auckland and got 75,000 hits, which I feel like I was like, oh, it's gone viral. No, it's not. It's only 75,000. But the point of it, that one, yeah, that was fun and giggles, but those updates are the one that I actually get the feedback saying, hey, I love those videos because it shows me what happened in my suburb. And they're so easy to do. You do 1, you do 2, you do 3, and the 4th one is going to be natural for you to come out. The data is on grinds, and really most people only look after a bunch of suburbs. You should start doing that on a weekly or monthly basis and put some caption underneath, please. That's the starting point. Because above that, over and above that, there's many other things that you can do. But let me start with this idea. I think this is a good idea. You tell me, okay? Because it's very easy to go to a business and, do a shout out and basically the shout out that would say, I'll record a video, you put it on your Facebook page and you tag me and all of that. But how about you find your favorite 3 cafes, your favorite 3 florists, your favorite 3 of whatever it is in your suburb, and you go and you say, On the first Monday of every month, I'm going to $100 towards the spend of your next client. So somebody comes in, buy a bunch of flowers, they're free thanks to Diego from Harcourts. All he's asking is to give him a 5-star review. Why not? You know, you're giving some money out, might as well get something back. Now, but then you're going to say, I'm going to do this for you every 3 months. You're going to give away $100 worth of products to a client. So you're going to be looking good. I'm going to be looking good. But I'm going to ask you to have business cards and a poster at your door. And I'm going to be the only agent that can do that. And every 3 months, I'm going to be doing that. So I'm investing $400 a year into your shop of free products, because your clients will love to get something for free. And I'm going to be on the door and on the business card on the bench top. You do that for your top 10 little shop, whatever you are, you know, your locational shops, cafes, bars, restaurants, anyone that is going to come to your area will see your name, and that's the starting point. I don't think many people do this. You got to bribe your way in, and if you find 10 shops at $400, that's $4,000 a year. That's a strategy that costs you $4,000 a year to be in all of your cafes, all of your whatever shops there are. So I came up with this idea. I don't know if it's new, by the way. I'm just, you know, I couldn't sleep, and I was like, okay, what is my best idea? I'm going to start trialing it for next week, and I want to have 10 shops that got my name and my name only. Because guess what? If you're seen everywhere on social media, if your flags and signs are everywhere throughout the day, throughout the weekend, if you're seen everywhere on the portals, if you're seen everywhere around all of those things, and then people go to the cafe to get a cup and they see your name, where else? You're literally stalking them without stalking them. And that's what a true area expert is. But the problem is this: if you don't have the support, for to be able to do all of this, to print in your flyers, to print, get all of that done and reminding you what to do, you're going to be running out of time and chasing your tail and failing at pretty much all of them, because there is not enough time in a day. No matter how organized you are, the moment you got 5 listings plus on the go, your time is screwed, because you are the PA, you are the marketing manager, you are the sign person, you are the person, you are the flyer person, how many other things that you are basically everything, plus you are the real estate agent, and that's where you get burned out. So prospecting really is not about the strategy. I mean, you're all here, and I salute you to come to a conference to learn. You're here, you know what prospecting is. Hopefully these couple of ideas are a little bit different. The point of it though, if you don't have the support at the back, you're not going to be able to prospect for a long time without burning or without having those up and downs. So that's my 2 cents today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and have an amazing day.